Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 styles of love. So, the 4 styles of love are basically based on your attachment style. And if you're not already familiar or if you're new to my channel, basically attachment theory, there will be nothing else that affects our romantic relationships more than what our attachment style is if we are an insecurely attached individual. So basically we have different attachment styles. You can check out other videos on this channel that go in depth in terms of what the 4 major attachment styles are and some of their patterns. There's a securely attached style. There's an anxious preoccupied, which tends to be the more needy person in relationships, who fears abandonment a lot. There's the fearful avoidant or disorganized attachment style, who tends to have a lot of trust wounds. They can be really emotionally available, but they also don't want to let people in. It's like they'll be available for others, but they won't let people be available for them. They fear relying on people. They can fear abandonment, but they can also fear too much closeness. And then we have our dismissive avoidant, who really tends to fear closeness, vulnerability. They often feel a lot of shame if people get too close to them. They have a lot more vulnerability hangovers. And so each different attachment style you can think of as having basically a subconscious set of rules that they use to relate to other people based on how they were parented and some of their early childhood experiences. And so what happens is we have this subconscious set of rules. And if somebody has a different set of rules than you, it's seriously like playing a board game with somebody and you have 2 different rule books. Like you're going to have a lot of problems and challenges and confusion that otherwise wouldn't exist. So if you are new to this channel, check out the different attachment styles. I'll put a link with some videos below. But when it comes to these 4 major styles of love, each attachment style, as they become more secure, they still carry this flavor with them. So the 4 major styles of love, and we'll talk about how they relate to each attachment style, is harmony, intimacy, worship, and health. So harmony. Harmonious love is the natural preference for a dismissive avoidant. It's what their like ideal version of love is like. It's like supportiveness between 2 parties, commitment, consistency, safety, laughter, lightness, people getting along very well, mutual care and consideration. Like this is as a DA becomes secure. And I've seen many of them in my practice, many, and honestly, many of them in the school. We have some amazing DAs in the school who are like just crushing it. But anyways, so dismissive avoidance, as they go from like this fear of commitment to like allowing it in over time and opening up and having that vulnerability, their flavor of love or their style of love becomes very all about like harmony, connection, all those sorts of things. And it's sort of like a lighter type of love. It's not as like deep and intense. They can make space for that as they become secure and definitely have room for that big time and even enjoy that and get a lot out of that. But they tend to have more of this like harmonious way of connecting with others and valuing relationships that are very harmony based. Then we have intimacy. This tends to be the fearful avoidant version of love. This is like the depth, the intensity, but not necessarily the frequency. Fearful avoidants derive a lot of their feelings of safety and trust through, is somebody transparent with me? Are we deeply bonded? Are we really open? Are we really connected to one another? And if we have those ingredients and there's a lot of intensity, then nobody's going to get bored and nobody's going to break my trust because they value the relationship enough. And a lot of fearful avoidance, once it becomes secure, they carry that like flavor of love into the relationship dynamic. They carry this flavor of like still wanting that depth, still valuing a relationship based on that depth. But the really interesting thing for fearful avoidance is like they want the depth, but they don't necessarily want to be tied to somebody 24/7. It's like they want those really powerful interactions when they're with somebody, but they don't necessarily want to be with somebody all the time either. And that's sort of how they almost like have their more anxious side that's like really wanting the care, the closeness, but then they're more avoidant side. And so as they evolve to become secure, they'll still carry that like need for depth of connection in sort of a lighter, more balanced and healthier way. Not at like the expense of themselves or the expense of other areas of their life, in a more balanced sort of version. But then they also still carry that need for like freedom and novelty and exploration and like adventure, and to just have the relationship to themselves at the same time. And so they'll care for that autonomy, which can create this intimacy need where it's like emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, intimacy as it applies to all things, but not necessarily that intensity, but not necessarily that frequency, not like having intense closeness all the time. The anxious preoccupied, do not judge this, okay? If you are anxious, be kind to yourself and understand this. Worship. A lot of anxious preoccupied individuals, like they associate being wanted, adored, worshipped as being safe and avoiding losing somebody. So in those early stages of being anxious preoccupied, it's like, oh my gosh, if we can have certainty and closeness and lots of connection, then through that closeness and lots of connection, and if I know that I'm really wanted, really worshiped, really put on a pedestal, I won't be abandoned. And so a lot of that flavor carries over as they become secure. They still want to feel like they're like wanted, that they're put on a pedestal, that they're like really, really liked, and that people think they're like sort of special in a way. And that tends to be their version or like flavor they carry over into love. Now it becomes much more balanced and healthy where they can give themselves encouragement and build themselves up and give themselves words of affirmation and have that like healthy, balanced relationship to self. But a lot of the sparks they feel as they become more secure are like, are those needs getting met to feel special and important and really valued and wanted by somebody? And that tends to be the flavor. And again, very much linked to like the basic human need of certainty and feeling like I'm secure with somebody if they're treating me this way and showing up for me this way. And you'll see anxious preoccupied too, like valuing more of like the romanticism in relationships, the more grandiose gestures, all that kind of stuff. And then number 4, we have health. And this is related to being securely attached. Obviously, like this isn't changing too much, but they tend to value like thriving in a relationship through loving, mutual support, healthy interactions, growth together, connection, expansion, working through things, moving beyond obstacles, and feeling this kind of like in it together sort of feeling in their relationship dynamics. And, there's harmony in there, there's intimacy in there, there's worship in there, but it's more like a balance of all those different things. And the more you've been secure for a longer period of time, you'll see this tends to be more of the version through which you love, but sort of seasoned with the flavors from how your attachment style previously, before becoming secure, loved before, and having some of those sort of tossed in there, which can be really interesting. So hopefully this all makes sense. Oh my goodness, really important. We are also doing a 7-day free trial. If you haven't checked it out already, there's a link in the description box below. We have a 7-day free trial to all of our courses. It is courses about becoming secure, courses about what secure relationships look like, courses about reprogramming your attachment style, courses about boundaries, codependency and enmeshment, how to heal from a breakup, how to repair any relationship, a whole bunch of boundaries on like success in the subconscious mind, your attachment style in the workplace, all kinds of stuff, along with 4 live webinars a week that you can join in with me that we do over Zoom. And you can play back if you miss or don't want to be on Zoom, and all our social events, all that kind of stuff. So we have all of that. There's a link in the description box below. We have it open right now. You can check it out. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already to this channel. And I will see you in the next video.